Hi YouTube, today I'm going to show you some Snake Eyes Fire King combos including Fiendsmith that are actually playable and applicable in this new format. For the first combo, we're just going to do one Ash, and this is absolutely doable, Nibiru proof. You can't do full combo if you get Nibiru, but you play it in a way that even if you get Nibiru, you can put up 5 interruptions during your opponent's turn. So we're going to start by normal summoning Snake Eye Ash and adding Snake Eye Poplar to our hand, which is then going to trigger to special summon itself. Triggering again on summon to add to our hand OSS. We're going to link away Poplar. For Anima, we're just going to do this so that we can trigger Poplar's third effect, setting it, activating it as a continuous spell. And then we're going to do OSS, sending it for Ponix. Ponix on summon will add to hand the Sanctuary, which we will then activate. Activating directly from deck. Island. We're at 4 summons so far, so the next summon should be something that makes us Nibiru proof. So we're going Ash with Sanctuary for Flamberge. Now if we get Nibiru, we'll get 2 materials back, and we still have the Island of the Fire Kings live, which is basically enough to put up a good amount of interruptions, especially if your opponent has a card less in their hand. Now we're going to link these 2 away for Closed Moon, which will be immediately linked away, for Requiem, which the effect of this will be used, attributing it to special summon Fiendsmith Engraver. We can then use Requiem's Grave effect, equipping it to Engraver, and contact fuse these 2 for Necroquip Princess. And then we can use Engraver's effect Engrave, shuffling back into the extra deck our Closed Moon and special summoning it. We can overlay these 2 for Wave King High Caesar, and now we are basically really Nibiru proof because we can just negate it. So we can now use our Flamberge, popping it with Island to search Garunix to hand. And now we have also chain blocked the Flamberge Dragon, so we will chain link 1, chain link 2, special summoning Garunix, and also Ash and Poplar. On summon, Garunix will trigger again, destroying in our deck Arvata, which will trigger, and special summon Ponix. And now with 4 monsters on the field, we can do basically whatever. But the best way is to link these 2 for IP, and then link IP plus Ash into Princess. Use Princess effect to revive the Flamberge Dragon. And then with Garunix and Princess, go into Ambler Whale. We can now use Flamberge to put the Avata in the spell trap, and we pass on this board. The first thing we want to do in our opponent's turn is use Flamberge to get back Arvata, use the monster negate, popping the Ambler Whale. When Ambler Whale is popped, we can summon back a link to or lower monster from our grave, and we'll do this for IP. It is important that you do this before you use your Princess, because if you use your Princess, you cannot summon the IP. You can then go IP plus Flamberge for SP, which is another 2 interruptions. So we have 1 with this, then 2 with this, 2 with this, that's 5. And now we can decide if we want to use Flamberge. Let's say we use it to summon back Ash and Poplar. We'll get to search Oak and the field spell. But if we do that, we can't use the full extent of our interruptions, because when we now use Princess to pop this, we cannot trigger both Arvata to summon back Ponix and Garunix to summon back itself, but we can use Garunix to summon itself back using its effect, sending Kieran from our deck. And because we summon these 2, we can't use the effect of Kieran. So if we choose not to summon these with Flamberge, we get another pop with Kieran because he can summon back our Arvata, so that we have a monster negate on our own turn up and get a pop. So it's between 7 and 8 interruptions. Plus, it's only one card and it's completely Nibiru proof. So if you get Nibiru'd, this will probably the spot in which you will get Nibiru'd, because this was our 5th summon and our opponent wouldn't let us extend any further because he knows Fiendsmith is coming, and if we get the Fiendsmith into graveyard, we could get some follow-up going. So if you get Nibiru'd here, all of these will be sent to the graveyard and you get a token, and then you can trigger Flamberge's effect, special summoning your Ash and your Poplar, and then using Island's effect, which has not been activated, to destroy either Poplar or Ash, and adding Garunix. Garunix will then trigger, special summoning itself, and trigger again on summon, destroying the Arvata in our deck. Arvata, when destroyed, will trigger, special summoning the Ponix back to our field. And now you can go Ponix plus the token for IP Masquerena. She just says non-link monsters, she doesn't need effect monsters, so you can use the token for this summon. And then you'll just go these two for Princess, and use Princess's effect to revive your Flamberge. And then you'll go into Amblo Whale here. And now you'll use Flamberge to activate Arvata as a continuous spell. And this is basically the same end board, except that you don't have the Caesar. So what you're going to do during your opponent's turn is the same thing. Summon this, use this to pop this, and you get a monster effect. That's our first interruption. And special summoning the IP with the Amblo Whale. And then you'll go IP plus Flamberge for Little Knight, getting us 2 more interruptions. So we're at 3 now. And then when our opponent summons another monster, we'll use Promethean, popping the Arvata, special summoning itself, and popping something from our opponent. And then, oh, sorry, I forgot. We also trigger the Flamberge, special summoning this and this, getting follow-up in form of Temple and Oak, which is pretty strong. Like I said, then you'll Princess, popping the Arvata. And now you can choose to trigger Arvata to special Ponix, but I wouldn't. I would just trigger Garunix, special summoning itself, and then activating the effect to pop Kieran in deck. And Kieran will then summon back either Arvata or Ponix. Arvata sadly is hard once per turn, so we can summon it back to get another negate, but we can just summon it back so we have a negate on our own turn and pop another card. So this is basically 5 interruptions through Nibiru. The last of the basic combos that I want to show you is just Witch, or this could be Wanted, and any discard. So in this case, we'll just take Witch. First of all, of course, you're going to summon Witch by discarding your discard and then setting directly from your deck the OSS. And then activating OSS, sending Witch to special summon Ash from deck. Now the only way to get into your Fire King engine right here is to use Ash's effect to add Ponix to hand, and then normal summon Ponix, activating its effect on summon to add Sanctuary, then activating Sanctuary to directly activate the island. Then you'll go Ash plus Sanctuary for the Flamberge, and then Island, popping Ponix to add Garunix. Garunix will then trigger, summoning itself, and on summon it will trigger again to pop Arvata in the deck. Arvata will then trigger, summoning back out the Ponix. Then you'll go Ponix plus Flamberge into IP Masquerena and use Flamberge's effect to revive both the Ponix and the Ash. And then you can go with any of these bodies into the Promethean Princess, use Princess to revive the Flamberge, and then use Flamberge to place the Arvata in the spell trap zone. And now you link these two into the Amber Whale. So this is basically the same board that you would do with Ash if you get Nibiru, but you have this additional Ash on field. This makes it kind of awkward because you have one extra body that you can't really use in any specific ways. You could also do this combo differently to end on the Wave King High Caesar, but the end board is kind of weird. But I'm also going to show you that. The extra body is just basically fodder. You pop this with this to negate one monster, so that's one. Then you get the IP back, and you use this extra body that you have here for your SP. So that's 3 interruptions of Arta plus the 2 SPs. And now when your opponent summons something, you use Princess, popping the Flamberge to special summon it and pop something from your opponent. So that's 4. And then Garunix will trigger. And maybe you can trigger your Flamberge, depending on if one or two of these monsters were removed. You trigger the Garunix, sending the Kirin. And then Kirin will give you the 5th interruption by special summoning this Ponix back to the field and popping a card. So this is the variation of the Witch plus a discard combo with the Fiendsmith package. So you'll just summon the Witch, use the effect for the OSS, activate OSS to send the Witch. The start of the combo is basically the same, but you kind of switch it up and go into a different line to get more sum negates if that is what you need in that matchup. But both combos are pretty much on the same amount of negation. So with the Ash, you add the Ponix and you normal it, activating its effect to add the Sanctuary, activating Sanctuary to activate Island, and then use Ash effect with Sanctuary to special summon Flamberge. And right here, you go Island, popping the Ponix to add Garunix. Garunix will trigger, popping the Arvata, summoning back the Ponix. Now you'll go with these two into Moon, and then Flamberge will trigger, special summoning back Ponix and Snash, and then you'll go Moon into Requiem effect, tributing itself to get the Engraver, then equipping itself onto Engraver, Contact Fusion for Necroquip Princess, and then you'll summon this back by putting the Moon back to the extra deck, and now you can overlay for your Wave King High Caesar. Now, if you have basically any extender, you can just do the same thing that you would do with one Ash, because to do the standard combo without the High King Caesar, you just need 4 monsters, basically. But we don't have 4, we have 3 right now. So what we're going to do is link these two into IP. It's not really relevant if it's IP or any other link to. And then we'll just link these two into the Princess and use Princess to summon back the Flamberge and use Flamberge to put the Arvata in the spell trap. Now, what you're missing is the Ambler Whale, because the Ambler Whale enables you 2 more interruptions in the form of summoning IP back which then will go into SP. So what you have to do right here is summon the Arvata back, use its negation, and popping the princess. So that's 1, 2, 3 interruptions. Now you have Princess in Grave, and later in the turn you can use Princess, popping either Flamberge or Arvata, it doesn't really matter, to special summon itself, and that is your 4th interruption. Now Garunix will trigger, summoning itself back, and popping the Kirin in the deck, and Kirin will be able to special either Arvata to have negate on your own turn, or Pawnex, there's no real reason to get Pawnex, back to the field and then pop 1 card, making it also 5 interruptions. The combo that you do depends basically on the matchup. If you play against something with a lot of effects that summon monsters, I would go for the Wave King High Caesar combo. But if you go for against a deck that you can stop with a lot of destruction effects, maybe the other combo is better. But what you have to keep in mind is that with just 1 Diabell Star, you can't realistically play through Nibiru. So another combo I wanted to show you that is also Nibiru proof, and that is full combo, is Witch plus a discard, which in this case will be Witch, and the Snake Eyes Ash. This is basically the most sophisticated combo you can do. It ends with the most interruptions, and you can also play it Nibiru proof, assuming there are no other hand traps, of course. So the first thing you do is you summon Diabell Star by pitching your discard. Diabell Star will trigger and set from deck the OSS. Our second summon will then be Snake Eyes Ash. On summon, it will search Snake Eyes Poplar, which will then trigger summoning itself. And on summon, it will add us to hand the Divine Temple. We will activate Divine Temple, activating from our deck as a continuous spell the Snake Eyes Diabell Star, and then we'll link the Poplar into the Anima for our 4th summon, and we can then use Poplar's 3rd effect to activate it as a spell. Now we'll go into the Nibiru proof part, sending the Ash and the Poplar to summon Flamberge Dragon, and then we'll use Diabell Star to special summon itself and put the Poplar in the spell trap zone, and then we'll use OSS to send the Poplar, adding from deck the special summoning from deck the Poplar, and then Poplar will activate, grabbing the Sanctuary. We will activate Sanctuary, grabbing from deck the Island. And now you can go these 2 for Moon, Moon for Requiem, Requiem effect for Engraver, Requiem effect equipped to Engraver, and then Contact Fuse these 2 for Necroquip Princess, and then we'll use Engraver in our graveyard, sending back for cost the Closed Moon and summoning itself, and then we can overlay into Wave High King Caesar. So now we are able to use our Flamberge and don't worry about Nibiru. So now what we can do is we can link these 2 for the IP Masquerena, and then Flamberge will trigger Engrave, summoning back the Poplar and the Ash. And then we can go Poplar and IP for Princess, and then Princess for the Flamberge again, and then Ash plus Princess for Ambler Whale. And now you can use the Island of the Fire Kings, popping the Pawnex, adding to hand the Garunix, which will then trigger because something was destroyed. And on summon, it will trigger again to destroy something in your deck, which will be the Arvata. When this is destroyed, you can special summon one Fire King from your grave, and we'll special summon the Ponix. And now what we can do is link these two for the Silhouette Rabbit, and on summon this will set Azarun from deck. I don't have my Azarun yet currently, so this is the Azarun. It's an inherent summon negation, and when it is summoned, the Silhouette Rabbit also pops one, so that's how this card works. And now you can use Flamberge to put the Arvata in your spell trap zone, and it is basically the same end board that you would have with the Just Ash combo, but it includes 2 more interruptions in form of the Azarun and the Rabbit, and also your island is protected by the Sanctuary, and the board is a bit clustered, so resolving the Flamberge effect during your opponent's turn could be kind of difficult, but there is enough follow-up, like in your graveyard and with the Fire Kings and all of that, that you can still manage to come back after a turn, even if you don't use your Flamberge.